Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Fable live session, Fable Friday, I guess we have here. I am joined by the founder of Fable, Vikas Potta. Thanks for making some time for us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Joe. Pleasure to
Yeah,
chat with you today.
yeah, this is great. The great Sarah Parker should be joining us shortly. There, she's having some technical difficulties, but
Definitely.
we will try to hold things together here till she jumps in. For
Yes,
people
sir.
that don't know, Fable is a newly launched tool on AppSumo, offering a lifetime deal. It does creative. It helps you create interactive demos and step-by-step guides. So, Vikas, where first of all, where are you from?
I'm from Bangalore, India.
Oh, nice, very nice. And what what's your origin story? Like, why did you start Fable, and how did you go about starting Fable?
Well, I mean, a little bit of a backstory, right? I've been in B2B SaaS for the last 12 years. And in most of my roles, I've always been part of GTM teams. And every single company that I was a part of, there were one or the other issues with respect to demos. I had to run around from one team to the other, seek for help whenever I had a sales call. Whenever I would talk to my enablement and the marketing team, they said the engineering team weren't able to help them, etc. Right? And we thought, let's hold back. If after so many years in SaaS, we are telling that this is a problem with demos, we might not be the only company or the only set of teams that might be having this problem. So we took a step back and said, let's talk to a lot more sales and marketing leaders. So did like an entire user interview process for 3 months, spoke to folks across the world in different SaaS companies, and you realize that we were right. It was not just us that were facing this problem. There were a ton of people who were trying to showcase how their product works, trying to sort of put together a demo, and a lot more, but they were not able to do it with their current setup. And that's ultimately how Fable was born. And glad that we're able to put out the product today for a lot of our customers like you and others joining this live today to use it and share feedback with us.
That's Yeah, because as you know, when I reached out to you originally, I had a couple other demo tools, that were out there like Flowig, GuideJar. There's so many, and I wasn't sure if I needed a tool like this until I checked it out under the hood, spoke to you a little bit more, and the HTML customizations, the blurring. Oh, thank you, by the way, for the blur feature that you have listened to the Sumolings and kind of offered it to the lower tiers, which is excellent. We really appreciate that because I think that makes the tool like a killer. It does have a unique use case, even if you have these other demo tools, correct? Because a lot of people, there was a lot of confusion in the beginning where, oh, we already have 3, 4, 5 tools. What's this one going to do? Can you go more into that? I guess,
Absolutely. We'll talk about all of these things, right? I think you spoke about three. We'll start with the easiest question to answer first about the feedback from Sumo Link. So the intention, even before me and my co-founders wanted to list our product on AppSumo, was primarily because we wanted to reconfirm if the existing customers that we have and the use cases that they're using Fable for would be the same if we allow a lot more people to come and explore. So we had 3 to 4 use cases in mind, and we said that, you know what, if people are using Fable for one of these 4 things, I think we understand what we've built so far, right? And so the intention obviously is to put the product in the hands of as many people as possible, get feedback, understand what they're perceiving. And when I heard a lot of Sumo links tell that, you know what, we are extremely interested to use the blur feature, I said, why not? I want you people to use the product, which is exactly why I'm here in the first place. And if that means I want to pull that back into a tier which you guys are looking at, I said, "Oh, let's do it," right? So that's basically the thought process, right? So if you've seen, I've tried to be extremely active in all the Facebook groups across the LTD community on AppSumo. We're also doing a lot of one-on-one demos with folks who are coming and talking to us. I also see a few people that I have already had a chat with right now in this live, and who also spoke with me on my website chat. So the intention is to talk to as many people, which is why you might also see, I think, some sort of a surprise in our tiers going forward as well. Um, The
Great.
second thing, in terms of how Fable is different from the other tools that you mentioned, here's how I look at it, right? Tools like GuideJar or Floic or all of these other tools that I could talk about are good to start with, right? I would say I am grateful that all of you guys know about those tools because it's then easier for me to tell you that why should you graduate from tool A to tool B, right? So when we started building Fable, we said there has to be an amazing way for people to interact with the product that they're building a demo of. So it can be a how-to tutorial, or let's say for an onboarding guide, or creating a demo of your product. Screenshots are very much like a PowerPoint presentation thing, and presentations are gone in 2000s.
Yeah.
We're in 2024, so we're very confident that even though people might have come across these tools, they will look at Fable, and I think the community is proof that they're all liking what they see, and hopefully we continue to do it this way.
Yeah, I think that the other tools actually, like you said, they actually helped the users using Fable because they prepped them for what Fable does, and then it's easier to go to the next steps of what else it does. Uh, and another thing on the other tools is that the founders like yourself communicate very well. I have to say, Vikas, you are great on support. You're great in all the communities, very transparent, and you listen. And not to put down the other guys too. I've discussed with them in the past. I'm sure other users, they seem to also communicate well. It's something about demo tools that the founders communicate maybe a little better than some of the other tools on the market because you guys are all great and hopefully you could kind of get inspired by each other. But the Fable platform, it's so smooth. I mean, it was like I didn't want to like it at first. I said, "Oh, let me just check it out," because I always want to check out the tool. And as soon as I got to tier one, I was like, "This thing is really nice." And I'm not an affiliate, not yet, for Fable, but I just thought the
Not
tool was
yet.
great.
I'll
Not
make
yet.
you
Maybe in the future. I want to start
one.
doing affiliate more for tools that I actually use. And my use case for Fable just came up. Actually, the project's due today, so I have to work on this after the live. Is we are doing a demo for Google Analytics, how to set up a Google Analytics account for clients because we have a big problem where we set it up for them, but we want our team to be able to share, a demo, how to do it. And that's where the blur feature came into effect. I felt like the blur feature, because of sensitive information on things like that, is more important than even the CNAME white label.
Yeah,
Where I'm sure most founders would say, "Oh, the users would want CNAME white label more." I think the blur feature is what kills it, and then the HTML customizations, which is so cool, where you could just change it and customize something. I could customize the Google Analytics account to another name or website, or do everything I want. Like this could be your website here. Instead of showing another client's information. Very, very cool. Let's see. We got some. Vika seems to be really a genuine person who really cares for his product. Thank you, Asif,
thank
for
you,
that.
Asif. Thank you.
Asif's a good guy too. I think he's Captain America, Iron Man, Tony Stark. I'm not sure. He's got that cool avatar. Hey, so, where is Sarah? See, everyone shows up for Sarah. Sarah is restarting her computer and trying to fix that this morning. She had a lot of fires to put out with her computer, but she said she should be joining in about a couple minutes. So if anybody's watching and waiting, you could fast forward to like the 10-15 minute mark to see Sarah. She asks the serious questions. Joe, there's Alberto. He's another great guy in the group, in the community. Hello, guys. We use GuideJar. It's really advanced. Yeah, I guess we could get into more of
Yes.
what other tools do, but we could start by focusing on Fable first. So, how large is your team?
We're a 10-member team right now, Joe.
Very nice. Are you all within the same country or all around the world?
Except me, everybody is usually in the same time zone. uh, so I split my time between India and the US. So I'm usually there in US for 4 months in a year, spending most of my time with my customers, learning the use cases, seeing them use the product in front of my eyes, and sort of co-build with them. In fact, a lot of features that you see in Fable were suggested by some of our early customers. It's not something that we came up with and said, let's build it.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Even after the AppSumo launch, you'll be amazed to know that the amount of feature requests and the feedback that we've received. My team is already telling me that our public roadmap is buzzing with noise, and I don't know which ones to pick up first, right? So I think that's really, really helped us a lot.
There's a lot of you're gonna get a lot of feedback. You just have to like filter through the noise and see what
Yeah,
priorities are. You don't want all of us pulling you in every which way, because then the core of the product might suffer if you start expanding outward to other things. But where in the U.S. Do you visit?
I'm usually based in San Diego.
Oh, okay, West Coast. Well, if you come to
Yeah,
New York, come visit. We'll meet in the city and get a coffee.
absolutely. So my brother works for Amazon on the West Coast, and he's based in San Diego. So for me, 3 months a year is a rent-free place.
Oh, that's very nice. That's very nice. Yeah, I've never been to the West Coast, but I hear it's beautiful. So hopefully, me and the family will get out there one of these days. Mercury, we got Freddie Mercury. Do you guys any other SaaS, or is this the primary focus?
So Mercury, I mean, Fable is our blood, sweat, and tears. I think we've been working on this for a little over a year and a half. This is our only SaaS that we're working on right now because we believe that it's extremely important to focus on one pain point that you solve for very, very deeply before you guys can divulge into 10 other, associated problem statements that you can tackle.
Yeah,
So yep, for us, all eyes, ears on Fable right now.
he says AppSumo is the best place to get a large number of customers and small amount of payment. Yeah, yeah.
I'll stop in the first half of the sentence then.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's like a megaphone. They will get your message out there. So excited. Chris says hello. Excited to hear about the product. All right, yeah. So if you would like, we could start the demo about the demo tool.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
Could start
So,
that.
all right. So here's what I'll do to just make it simple and ensure that whatever I'm showing about Fable is applicable for everybody who's on this live.
Okay.
I'll try to pick up a very, very simple tool. Let's say a calendar or Google Calendar, so to speak. All of us use calendars on a daily basis. Let me try to create a demo of Google Calendar using Fable. I'll share my screen and do that. And once we create that particular demo, we can talk about what are all the different features, why do we have feature X, feature Y, etc. And then I'm sure that once I share my screen and complete the demo, there'll be a ton of other questions that we can pick up later on.
Yeah, we could go through questions. Okay, after.
Perfect. Right.
And we're gonna do a giveaway. I think what is it? 3 tier ones.
Yes, 3 tier ones.
Maybe we'll pick at least one person in the comments from today, and you could vote later with your team who will win the other 2.
Definitely. Let's do that. I'm just about to share my screen. Please
Okay.
confirm if you guys can see it.
Let's see. All right, let me show it. Here we go.
Let me know once you guys can see my Google Calendar.
Yep, I can see it. Everybody should be able to see it.
Perfect. So just to reiterate, this is one of my dummy calendar accounts that I'm using to demo Fable on this call. Let's just say I want to show
you don't look too busy. Yeah, your calendar, you don't look that busy enough from this calendar.
No, this is my dummy one. Oh, man. Yeah. So I'm just trying to create a very simple demo of how to maybe edit a calendar event or maybe make some few changes. Let's see how that works. The same can be applied if you were to create a tutorial of Google Calendar or a how-to guide of Google Calendar or an onboarding guide for somebody who's starting to use Google Calendar for the first time. The process basically remains the same. So I log into the web application that I want to create a demo of, fire up Fable's Chrome extension that I have pinned on my browser, and say record a new demo right here. Fable just gives me a little more details about how the product works and what you're supposed to do once the extension is fired up. And now let's basically play around with Google Calendar in terms of what I want to show in the how-to guide or the demo. So we've created a test event. Let's just say I want to edit this test event. I want to add a new guest, maybe want to show how to change a few things here, and send the reminder to attend that particular test event to the new person that we've added as a guest. Let's just say that this is the short demo that I wanted to show. all I have to do once I've shown the workflow is go back to Fable's Chrome extension and click on stop recording. Now, the first thing obviously would be for me to create a new demo on this and just maybe choose a name. Just say, okay. And the next thing is based on the suggestions that Fable has, it just shows you what are all the different styles that you can choose for this demo. And here is where the first most important magic Fable happens. Fable, as you see right now on my screen, is auto stitching every single step that I performed when I was running the application. So it's not just taking screenshots, it's creating a copy of the front end HTML and the CSS code of Google Calendar and trying to replicate that inside Fable so we can do whatever we want later on once this is through, right? And it also knows which step did I go to first, what did I do after that, and all of that. So we'll be able to see that in a few seconds.
Hi, Sarah.
Finally, Sarah is here.
Yes.
All right. So now if you see, this is the dummy demo that we've created of Google Calendar. Again, we have not done any customizing yet. We have not edited this demo. This is just a bare bone demo that you could see. This is inside Fable. This is not a screenshot. As you could see, the scroll was enabled for my calendar. We can still hover over all of these elements and basically see what is happening. Fable knows that I started by clicking on the test event. I clicked on edit. And after that, I added a new guest, yada, 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 right? This is the first important step of Fable, right? So all you have to do is go to the application. In fact, Joe, you're talking about the Google Analytics use case that you were trying to build. Very, very similar. You go to Google Analytics, fire up Fable's Chrome extension, show whatever you wanted to show as a part of the workflow, and then you save that as a new demo. You will just land here, right? Once the basic recording of a demo is done inside Fable, is when you start making a few more additions to it in what we call as our canvas. So Fable knows that these were the different screens that I showed in the demo. It auto stitches which came first and which came later on, etc. And I can go inside every single screen and make whatever changes I want. So let's just say I want to create. Right. So whatever I want to add as a part of the guide, I can obviously add it here. I can make any sort of branding changes. Let's just say I don't like the color blue. I like something in the green background. I make that change right here. And everything reflects immediately, be it the font, be it the background, etc. Again, I'm taking this opportunity to talk about one question that has been asked a lot in the Facebook communities is, why do we have a powered by Fable branding? It's just a default setting. You can click this button here and this goes away automatically. So it's nothing to do with why it's happening with only your account. It's a standard setting. You have options to.
Most LTD buyers want the white label. We're white label spoiled.
No, I mean, the reason why we do that, is just to tell people that there's one additional setting. And in fact, in the initial days of Fable, there were a lot of our customers who said, it's okay, we're happy to promote Fable, let me do that. And I said, if you want to promote Fable, let me add my logo and I redirect that to my website. Mm-hmm. So that was how we did that. But obviously, when you're trying to put together a professional demo for your customers, your clients, or you want to embed it on any landing pages, it's only right for you to remove it. So just a click of a button, and then it goes away automatically, right?
Yes, I know we discussed, is there going to be a global setting to turn it off, on and off in the future?
Yes, the future might basically be another week or 10 days.
Oh, wow.
So we've already started working on that because, see, there are about, not just that, there are about 4 or 5 different features and variations of these features that we've been hearing from the last 72 hours since we went live on AppSumo. And the more times we get to talk to people, the more we believe that it's extremely important for them. So we're already working on stuff like global settings for not just this, but a lot more other things inside the app as well.
That'll be nice. And I'll give people one tip of why you might want to keep the Fable branding on, because I know everyone's all about the white label. It's kind of counterintuitive, but when you have branding of another app that you're using for specific things, it actually increases your authority as the company using Fable. So that might be something you want to think of is it's a win-win if you do want to keep that branding on.
Good point.
There's
Good
a
point.
reason
It
why.
helps the company's future too and the product
Mhm.
that you invest in. So LTV
Absolutely.
buyers are all worried about, yeah, that's very, you know what? That's why Sarah's here.
Well, the psychology behind it is, of course we want white label because it's like it's our secret. But if you
Yeah.
share your secret, people are like, wow, look
Yeah.
at they're amazing. What's this Fable thing? Oh, they're a legit company. So Sarah's company who's using this must be legit too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point. Right? That's a great point. So the reason I called it out is because at times it might be very easy to perceive that the reason the founder is putting that logo is just because he wants to max out everything from an LTD deal, right? But it's actually not the case, at least with us. So thought it's very easy to at least tell it out in the open that that's not our intention.
Mm-hmm. Enterprise companies use, Calendly without branding it. So there's a reason. So you might want to keep the branding on.
Well, now I'm going to tell my team that it has to be a default on option.
Gene
Thank
gets
you for
it,
that.
yeah.
Oh my God. So back to this, right? So now that we've seen how to do a few basic things, you can obviously customize the CTAs that you have. Uh, Not just the names of the buttons or just the content here. You can also add custom CTAs, maybe change the way the CTA buttons look. You can obviously add a few effects. These are all design heavy changes. If you want change the branding, the logo, the size of the guide box, etc. And the next important thing is what Joe was talking about, the edit feature that Fable has enabled. This is where the real magic of Fable actually happens when somebody talks about the likes of a guide jar or any other tool. The reason that they won't be able to do what we can with Fable in the next few minutes is because they just take a screenshot, whereas Fable replicates the entire HTML and CSS of that particular application for you, right? Let's just say we are creating this particular demo and wanting to put this up on a landing page. And it's been 2 to 3 months that I created this demo, and this particular month is now August. I don't want to recreate this entire demo again. What do? I just come to this particular screen, click on this, and replace May with August. It's as simple as that,
Whoa, that's
right?
crazy.
And it's not just with text. You can do it with images as well. Or for example, I don't want anybody to say that, there is something called as a month field here. I just want to remove this element altogether. Just click on this, that goes out.
Wow. I want everyone to understand how big of a deal this is because I have 2 software similar to Fable that I already use, and I have never heard of this feature ever. So this is a big deal.
Yeah. This is something that we've all been talking about, like saying what is different about it compared to the others. And in the comments, we already have people, saying like, how is it different from SmartQ? Could go over that.
Absolutely. I think Guide Jar and SmartQ are very, very similar. They're both screenshot tools. Like I said,
and Flowic also, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Floyd, SmartQ, Guide Jar. I am glad that people are aware about these products because when somebody uses tools like these and then take a look at Fable, they're like, I know what's the difference. I don't even have to sell it to them because it's right in front of the eyes. It's a great tool or a choice to start if you were to go with any of them. By all means, please do that. But then, if you were to have a lot more interactivity with the product by creating real interactive demos, I think Fable might be a better choice, right? So, what is said, the way I at least talk about it within my team is when somebody comes to this editing table on any demo application, I want them to think of that as a playground. Now play with it. Do whatever you want. Again, going back to the Google Analytics example, Joe, let's say you want to talk to a software company. You want to show some details here that are prevalent to a software company. So you make changes, whatever you want within the screen so that it's customized for that person. Maybe a day later, you want to create something for a manufacturing company. So Google Analytics for a manufacturing company, you might want to show a different dashboard, different settings and all of that. You can customize it, all of that from this place. You don't have to go every time, create those settings, add all those details and record, because the faster you can get to the output, the better it is. And that's basically where Fable can help you, right? I mean, I just showed you some text. I can actually remove this, entire elements, right? I can just totally remove this entire block. And if you see, I didn't even know that there was something here that existed. I completely removed it, right? I can do the same with images. I can replace my photo that you can see here with any image that I want, or I can maybe blur this particular image or remove this particular image. So it's think of it as a playground, right? Anything that you can see on the screen can be customized. And at the end of the day, if you go back, obviously, if I close this and click on preview, you will see that the changes are reflecting in real time, right? So that's basically the beauty of Fable's editing playground.
And this
Oh
is
my
great
God.
if you have a website, even for a client, that you have to show them changes in a demo, that the site, you can't wait for your development team to do the changes. You could just do it on the front end real quick and do the demo
Yeah.
That's an
ahead of time
amazing
before the changes are
idea.
even done.
I love that. This is cool too, because I don't know if people have ever made walkthroughs for clients, say like help docs or even your team, like help docs for your team you could use this with. I've had to send things to my editor because there's some sensitive information sometimes where I'm like, I just don't want that in there. And then my video editor has to go in and blur everything manually. Like it takes so much time. This is amazing.
Vikas added the blur feature to the lower tiers now. So because before it was just for tier 3 on the AppSumo deal. So,
So
is
cool.
it tier 1
Yeah.
also, Vikas, or just tier 2 and up?
No, it's tier 2 and tier 3. So what we realized is a lot more people were talking about blur than everything else that we put out there. And I really didn't expect that to be such an interesting use case for a lot of people. So we said, let's put it up on tier 2 itself. And interestingly, from the time we've put that up, a lot of tier 2 purchases have started happening for us on AppSumo. So again, I just want to say that it might be because of this or something else, but at least the data says that a lot of people are purchasing for the blur side of things. And you're right, Joe. And a lot of people that are purchasing tier 3 are coming to us and telling that I'm actually looking forward to use the in-depth HTML customizations, right? So we were assuming that people wouldn't want it because I didn't know that everybody would be so interested in using this feature.
We have a
I
lot of
thought a lot of
pride.
people, I think so too. I thought people will talk about CNAME a lot,
Yeah.
but surprisingly, not too many people are talking about CNAME at all.
We usually ask for that, but on this one, maybe common sense came in and we were like, oh, we don't need CNAME for this. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. So I think I'm very enthused about this, not just because of the features, but because of two things, you guys, just so you know where my thoughts are. You know how pretty in-depth I am with how I choose my software and vet it. One, I mean, amazing founder here. So you have one of those minds where you're like, oh yeah, I'll just make this feature. It's not a big deal.
I think we're getting
And,
feedback
yeah.
from a mic. I don't know if that's your mic, maybe.
Might be mine. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you okay. Just this, it's a little noise in the background.
Sure,
Unless it's
let
me.
me see if I
Unless
can
it's
fix
me.
that. Give me 2
Yes.
seconds.
It's like this.
There we go. Can you hear me a bit better?
Could hear you well. It's just that there's like a feedback sound. I don't know. Vikas, can you hear that too? That sound?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see
Let's
some sort
try
of a
this.
jarring
Can you hear me
sound.
okay now?
No, it's
No.
still a little. You're speaking, but it sounds like there's like a robot next to you. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Well, I'm not sure what's going on with this. We've had some weird issues
Computer
with
issue.
everything out here, but can you guys hear me okay, or is it just...
Yeah, it sounds robotic.
I'll try to... We'll come back to that thought. I'll troubleshoot, but we'll come back to that.
Sarah is really AI. You're AI Sarah.
Maybe.
Dubstep. Sarah, you still sound better than me. Don't worry. Did you want to continue, Vikas, with the demo, or that's it?
Yes, of course. I mean, I only showed 10% of what Fable can do. Would love to show a lot more if it's possible. Just give me a second.
Yeah. If you'd like to show more. Yeah, Sarah, do you have Crisp on, maybe? No?
Right. So I think we're talking about the customizations right here, right? So once the customizations are done, you move on to doing a lot more things with Fable. One thing we keep hearing a lot is people wanting to break down a guide or a demo into mini modules, right? So think of them as an index or chapters of a book, right? So you don't have a book of 200 pages and say that, you know what, from start to finish, it's just a single chapter, right? You break it down into smaller chapters. That's when we use what we call as modules. So modules is basically mini interactive demos within the parent demo in itself, right? And one easy way for you to show it is, I think Sarah sort of responded in one of the groups that we are eating our own dog food. So if you come to Fable's website, we are embedding an interactive demo here, and this is what we talk about as the module, right? So if you want to see a specific feature of Fable and don't want to go through the entire demo, you just click on this and say, you know what, perfect, okay, fine. I want to know how to share a demo after a Fable creates one. Here is what it looks like, right? So module is extremely important when you have a lot of things to show in one particular demo, but you want people to also navigate to wherever they'd like to in a very quick manner. This is something that we've enabled as well. And obviously, once you've been able to set all of these up, you'll have to publish, your demo, and this is where the next step of Fable happens, right? So now you have your recording done, you have your editing ready, you have added your branding, you've removed whatever details you don't want, and customize it in the best way possible. And now you're ready to share your demo, right? So Fable allows you to share your demo in two different ways. One is to embed, this particular demo, very similar to how you saw me doing it on my website. You can embed on any landing page, be it Wix, WordPress, Webflow, doesn't matter, on your blog, or any landing page for that matter. And the best thing with our AppSumo tiers is there's absolutely no limit on any number of embeds that you can do in any number of places, regardless of the tier that you choose in AppSumo. So that means that you can go out and create hundreds of demos, copy the embed code from here and paste it wherever you'd like. Sort of, think about me taking the CNAME issue and throwing it out of the window, right? So you can talk about as many demos as you want and embed it as many places as you would like, right? So this is one thing that's been asked by a lot of people, and glad that it's helping them as well. The second,
We love iframes. No WordPress plugins, iframes all the way.
Yeah, and iframes are easy as well because it sort of sticks into the current design and the flow that you have on the structure of that page. And whatever is coming in is just an addition to what you've already made a good job at. So it's definitely a great way, right? The other option that we have in sharing is what we call as a URL or sort of a link. And now a lot of people asked us saying, hey, Vikas, when you can already share a demo from an embed in an iframe, why do you need this link? Now, there are two ways to sort of think about it. One is if you have an expansive web application or a web page, which you think cannot be done justice to within an iframe, and you want them to look at it in an entire screen and experience as if they're dealing with the real product, you will appreciate if that particular demo opens up in an entirely new URL. So we showed you how a demo looks as an embed. Now this is the dummy demo that we created on a full page, right? So it looks as if I am working on the original Google Calendar application in itself. So for folks who think this is a better option than the embed feature out there, this is also something that's available. Obviously, once the demo is shared, you've embedded or you shared that as a link. You can also come across and look at the analytics, which gives you details of what's happening with each of these demos, how many sessions, how many times have people come in, which steps have they checked, which screens have they checked on, etc. In short, obviously, I've not shown 100% of Fable has to offer. For the purpose of this, I think I wanted to cover how to record a demo. And after you record a demo, how do you edit and customize it? And after that, how do you share these particular demos? So try to cover these are the three different facets of what Fable can offer.
I have so many ideas. Looks like you guys are wondering about some use cases in the comments too. It might be kind of fun if you're not sure if Fable fits your use case. Put your use case in the comments and we'll walk you through it.
Idea. Yeah, we have some questions. I guess we could get started with questions. Sure. Let's go to the top here. So many.
There's a lot of great questions. Am I sounding less robotic?
Hopefully. Yeah, you're not AI. Yes. AI awesome. Sarah is gone. Sarah, no more.
The real deal,
Sarah Kana. Let's see. Francois, apart from my virtual tour, are there any other apps that cannot be captured properly with Fable?
Francois, I'm happy to say that we've also captured your virtual tour and you should be hearing from me by tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
Last service.
I mean, just a little bit of an understanding, right? And thanks that he asked that question. What happens when we try to record a demo using Fable is we try to replicate the HTML and the CSS DOM elements inside Fable and recreate that particular demo within our application, right? So at times, when there are a lot of things that are not just web-based, for example, in Francois' example, think of it as a Google Earth, right? So it's like a 3D screen moving around, and you can visualize art as if you were in, that particular place yourself. They get a little complicated. It's not that it cannot be done. Like I said, I know that my team is working on his use case, and by tomorrow we should be able to replicate that. But any particular web page or a web application or anything that loads on the browser, I can say with a decent amount of confidence that Fable can replicate it without any issues.
That's amazing.
This might be more useful for YouTubers than others. Not sure why, but
I mean, I already know I'm going to use this for sales. I'm going to use it for customer support. I'm going to use it for training my team, keeping my team updated. There's so many use cases that I can think of. This is
customer
very
support,
versatile tool.
right off the bat, and training the teams. That's what I'm using it for. Yes, have a color and brand style that can be set by default.
Yes, I think one of the things that we've obviously received in the last 72 hours that we've been live is having like a global settings system where you apply something across your organization and that's applicable throughout your demos that you've created. In hindsight, we should have had that much before this launch, but great that we've received feedback. So it's not just applied to the brand and the styling, it's also the kind of CTAs that you want to put up, the kind of names that you want for that CTA. For example, I had a use case where this morning I was chatting with somebody, from France again, and he said that because I'm a teacher, I'm putting together a tutorial for my, students to use a software that I'm a part of, and I am putting that together with 14 to 15 screens, and I want to change the next button into French. Is there a global setting options where I can just come in, click that option, it automatically changes in all these screens, right? I obviously never thought about it. And now that we're talking about such a use case, we're building it as we speak, and hopefully we have that ready in the next couple of days.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I have a question. Is it possible to attach platform like Heatmap, like Hotjar, or Microsoft Clarity on Fable so we can see it on Fable when client clicks?
Okay, at this particular moment, you cannot do that. But there are two reasons why you cannot sort of do that. Because for a tool like Hotjar to work, it needs to access the code of the product that's it's implemented on. So let's assume that in my example, I'm creating a demo of Google Calendar. So there is no connection between Google Calendar and Fable anymore. It's just inside Fable. For Hotjar to work, the script has to be installed on Google Calendar's application, right? And I don't control that. I only control the demo that's inside Fable. But the reason why I said there are two parts to this is we are trying to give you analytics on par with what you can see with some of these tools, which is obviously a long-term project, might be 6 or 12 months later. And it's also because one of my co-founders comes from a deep analytics background. So we are building a detailed analytics suite where you can see a lot more than the number of sessions that your demo has had, right? So we're trying to see if we can map each user with their journey within the demo. How much time has that user spent on that demo? Which screen has that guy spent on the demo? How many times has that person come in? So all of these things would be helpful for you at the back as a feedback system and ultimately improve your guides or demos at the end of the day.
That's nice.
Freddie Mercury, what record upload video option when editing direction steps?
Yes, I think video is something that I've been asked, quite a lot. As of today, we don't have the video option yet, but for a few people, if they actually sign up for the free trial today, they see that video option within the Fable dashboard. That's because we are testing the usability of that with our customers. And if everything works out well, I don't want to commit. There might be a surprise coming soon in the form of video in the next week or so.
Oh, cool. Is there any zooming or magnifying feature?
No, we don't have a zooming or a magnifying feature, and it's a conscious call as to why we don't have it. You need a zooming or a magnifying feature when you take a screenshot, because the screenshot is not clear It's just a photo of the application. There's no way you can interact with that application, right? But Fable is not a screenshot. You can actually interact with the application as you would in real time. So we believe that adding a zooming or a magnifying feature for that would just get complicated. For example, if I use my Google Calendar right now, if I want to create a new event, I won't zoom my screen and then create a new event, right? I use it the way it is. So we just want to keep it real in terms of how the end user would use it. So which is why we don't have these two at this point in time.
Oh, we could say it's a combination of Hoverify and GuideJar.
Has some features for sure. Hoverify is pretty cool.
And yep, I think I'd like to say a little more as well, right? But then, like I've always said, right, GuideJar is great to start. If it serves your use case, great. But if you want to do a lot more outside of that, then Fable might be a great choice for you.
It would be like if Hoverify and Hotjar had a baby, and then the baby became an MBA. That's what Fable is. Like, does a little bit more. It's got some features of both, but it's amazing.
Yeah. Hotjar is an extremely complicated product. I mean, they've built that from the last 10 odd years. So obviously nowhere close to what a Hotjar can replicate today. But if we can try to replicate a fraction of what they have done and associated with what Fable offers for you, I think it would be a baby with an undergrad, at least not an MBA.
Well, I say the MBA because the baby is actually in business and knows that users want an easier experience than Hotjar.
Francois, can we get interaction or info on just mouse over item before click?
No, currently we do not. So what we capture these are the different kind of events that we capture. We capture the sessions, we capture the clicks, we capture the user information, and we associate the time spent with each of these actions. And we also funnel them across different activities. For example, in your guide or demo, if you have 10 different steps, we relate each session to how many steps the person has performed. So at the end of the day, let's say your guide of Google Analytics was watched by or viewed by 100 different users. You know that how many users watched step 1, how many went to step 2, how many trickled down. So you know for a fact that, you know what, looks like after 5 steps in the demo, the guide people drop off. So one of the learnings might be, I think my demo should only be 5 steps long, right? So you reduce the demo and make sure that it's only 5 steps long. So steps like these is what we capture. But if there is no interaction, for example, in this case, when we say about a hover, we won't be able to capture it just yet. Like I said, I think there's one more question about Hotjar, etc. So in an event that we get there in the next 4 or 5 years time by spending so much money and putting together a resource level project, I think that we'll get there. But at least for now, it is a little beyond scope in terms of how we're looking at Fable.
I think Fable is going to meet a lot of people's needs, though. I wouldn't even, like, as it is, it's more than I could have bargained for.
You can add logos, change colors, but can we save all choices as our templates and use them later?
Yep, I think this is the same question that we've spoken about a couple of minutes back, right? It's called as the global settings feature. So you might call it global settings, you might call it templates, etc. So we don't have it as of today, but it's very much doable, and my team is working on it. As I'm happily sipping my water and then chatting with you guys today, they're doing the hard yards of developing this product. And so yes, it is coming out. I think it should be out, in a few weeks. As and when it comes out, we're obviously going to let all our users know.
Great. You may consider to expand use cases of Fable for marketers by adding some design features.
Oh, yes. Asif, thank you for this question. So me and my co-founders are marketers ourselves, and Fable was born out of the problems that we faced in our previous avatars as GTM folks. So the intention was to do one, make sure that marketers can create demos without going to engineering team. So if you saw, there was absolutely not a single line of code that I wrote. I didn't write any script. I didn't pull any plugin. I didn't show you any integration. All of it was with my screen and a couple of clicks, right? So the ease of use was the first thing that we had on our checklist, and we ticked that. Second thing is customization, which we've enabled with our HTML customization feature. Third, obviously, is on making it a lot more design heavy. Even today, you can do it, but I don't want to show it because it's a little too advanced. So I highly recommend that if the intention is to create a lot more design heavy demos, please do sign up for a free trial, of Fable and check it out. And obviously me and my team are there for any sort of support you need. So let us know.
Great. Great. And AppSumo has, what is it, 60-day refund window. So if you get a
Yes.
tier 1 just to try it out. But
Yep.
the blur feature is tier 2 and up.
Yes.
Awesome.
Module available in tier 1 also. Didn't mention on AppSumo.
Let me just. I think what we could do is just run around all the different features that we have on Fable. Module, by the way, is on tier 2 and tier 3. It's not on tier 1. What a lot of people asked for was, I think, the call to action buttons, the CTA buttons that we saw. Initially, for the first 1 day, we didn't have it in tier 1. But I think it's a learning, better learn late than never. And where we felt that every single person who wanted to create a demo using Fable wanted the CTA buttons for obvious reasons. So we roll that back and then enable that for everybody. But with module, it's available with tier 2 onwards, very similar to blur and hide elements.
Very nice. Can we export each slide in PNG JPEG format?
No, Asif. Like I said, for at the risk of sound like a broken record, we're not taking screenshots.
Yeah.
It's a full HTML, demo, so you can't export it as a JPEG, because if the whole intention is to just take a screenshot, I wouldn't do all of this anyway. I could just click a screen capture and stitch it together and push it out. So we don't have that, and at least I'd like to believe we won't be building that either as well.
And you can always do print screen if you really need that, but it's you kind of want them to stay in your system and your funnel, though. That's kind of the point of this too, is you're capturing the user experience and you're keeping them within your application.
Demo in new tab is great addition as alternative to iframe. I use walling.app for sharing information, but it does not support iframe, so this would be helpful.
Yeah,
there's a couple that do. I can give you some suggestions of how you can kind of wrap Fable.
Yeah, thanks Mercury for doing this, right? Asking this question. So there are a few more reasons why you would want to show a demo in a new tab. Like I said, the experience of you using a product and all its flavor is much more different than the others. The second, at least what I have understood from the last few days interacting with a lot of other people like you folks, is you want to host these demos in specific subdomains, right? Something like tutorial.mydomain.name or demo.yourwebsite.com or tours.yourwebsite.com. And that specific landing page is only for the demo of your product, right? And anybody who wants to use a how-to guide or a demo of that product comes there and then experiences it in all its beauty. So yeah, that's another use case as to why you might want to use it in a new URL, in addition to what you've mentioned.
With protected demos?
Yes, we're already building that. I still don't know whether we'd be pushing this in which of the tiers, because we've just started working on this. Actually, we started working on this even before our AppSumo launch happened, because some of our SaaS customers had asked for it, because they wanted to create demos specific to each prospect on their sales team. And they said, if I'm customizing it by adding some data, their brand information, their logos, and doing the entire personalization, I don't want the demos to be seen by anybody else except their team. So even in the password protected demos, we're trying to figure out what are the different ways to lock it. Is it lock it by domain name, lock it by organization, or just expose a password and say, give this password to anybody and let them use it? That's where we are stuck at, but this is going to come maybe in the next quarter.
Awesome. And please ask us if you have, need to do any focus group stuff, because we have so many different use cases for locking it or passwords that maybe we can help you guys sift through that.
Absolutely. So, more than happy.
Yeah. There's a great development question later I want hopefully get to too.
Oh, yeah.
After this one.
Brian Cato, this is going in my link building tech stack. Brian is someone you definitely want testing your platform. He's big SEO. He goes to a lot of conferences and speaks at them, and he's very creative with how he uses tools. So definitely want to reach out to him.
Absolutely, Brian. Looking forward to connecting with you sometime.
It's nice that you're taking use cases and edge cases like virtual tours / Google Earth and developing them. This is what we want. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. I think I'll have to thank Francois, right? So just a little bit of a backstory of how this happened. Francois came on chat and he said, Vikas, you guys have a great product, but I'm trying to record this demo using Fable. It's not working. I said, shit. I raised an alarm bell. I think I need to apologize to my team. I said, dude, what the heck is this? we are live on AppSumo and somebody's demo is not getting recorded. And in fact, honestly, I didn't even see what was the link that Francois shared with me before passing it on to my team. And I said, dude, do you even know what is that tool that they shared with you? I said, shit, this is a virtual tool. And if we can actually replicate this inside Fable, that's going to be a pat on the back. And our team has been working on that, for the last couple of days. And every single morning, I ping them and say, "Hey, I need to get back. I need to get back. Do you have an update for me?" And today, I was told, earlier in the day that we're very, very close to replicating what there is. Just adding a few snippets at the back to capture some of the 3D stuff, and hopefully it comes out. And then Francois says that Fable can also capture virtual tours.
Wow. Your Francois is great.
Nice.
He actually is one of our egghead experts in our group, and he is one of the first to test a tool, a platform, and give honest feedback and help founders. He goes out of his way to really help improve products in the early stages. He's a great guy too. So I'm glad you guys connected. Speaking of Francois, how deep can the analytics on the usage of tool by final users go?
Yep. So a little bit of an extension of what I mentioned previously. So currently what we have is what I'd like to call the basic analytics on the surface stuff, like, the sessions, etc. You will see some of our advanced analytics going live very, very soon, where we're going to map the journey of each user with every single thing that they're doing inside the demo or the guide. That's step 2. Step 3, which I think is a very long-term journey, is the hot jar sort of a thing, which might take a few hours to get there.
Arjit, is it possible to add Indian language like Hindi?
Absolutely, Indrajit. So you can add any languages under the hood, including right to left like Hebrew. You can just copy the language and the script from wherever you'd like and paste it in the guide box that I was showing you in the demo. And it's not just for the guide box. You can also make changes for the CTAs, the buttons, etc. So you can obviously do it across the demo in any language that you choose.
Right to left support is huge. I have so many friends, that really need that feature.
You set French as default language in the CTA button.
The default language, not at the moment, Francois. So what's happening is, a little bit of a reasoning as to why this is not happening, because we're not detecting the language yet when somebody uses that in the guide box or the CTA. What we will do, though, is we spoke about the global settings or the template feature a few minutes back. So what happens is, if you go to one CTA and say that, I want to replace the next button in English with this particular, language, let's say French or German or Hindi, as it was asked, and then you choose a tick or a setting which says apply that to all CTAs across my demo, right? That is something that will happen in the next couple of weeks. But default language is a little bit, far-fetched, because we're still not, keeping a track of what language is being, used automatically.
Questions. All right, here we go. Brave, do we have a plan to support Pabbly in next time?
A pretty simple answer, Brave. I think anything that comes with respect to integrations, be it high level, be it Pabbly, I've had a couple of people ask me about Make. We have a public roadmap that's available for all of you to go across, add your comments, add feedback and votes. There are absolutely no surprises. When I am telling you on this call that we're picking up on building a few features, it's just based on the number of votes, right? There's absolutely no other logic under the sun, right? If I have 100 customers and 25 customers ask me to build the global settings and the template feature, I'm just going to build it. As easy as that, right? So I'd request you to please go there and upvote. I think a couple of people have already asked for Pabbly because they tend to say that Zapier becomes a little too expensive at times. So please do upvote and then we'll take it up.
And I want to remind people too, and this is amazing that it's user driven, the features, that's wonderful, is that when you're asking for integrations, this is just Sarah's tip, ask for API or webhooks. Don't ask for a specific tool. The reason being, Pabbly, Elgato, Connexit, all of those tools, Celix, will integrate it for free if there's just an open API or webhooks. So give Fable a break. Just ask for API or webhooks and let the automation platforms then do the requests on those roadmaps and say, hey, these guys, this Fable app, they're amazing. Put in their API and their webhooks instead of just asking for one, because it gives us all a lot of flexibility and then gives his team less work. So
I totally agree. And if it helps, we're giving webhooks for our Sumo links across the tiers. So
very
you
cool.
can apply custom webhooks regardless of whether you're on tier 1 or tier 3, and you can get started. But then yes, if you really want like a native integration, I don't have any other option than to tell you to upvote on my roadmap.
Yeah, just ask for webhooks at least, you guys. Don't bother him with all the other stuff. Webhooks will give you everything you want.
Man, do Fable support Figma?
Oh, yes. So one of the use cases that we've had is people talking about trying to create a demo of an upcoming feature of their product. And every single time we talk to them about it, when we ask them, where does this design reside? They say it's on a Figma file, right? So just download the Figma file and you can upload it to Fable and put together a demo. So it's possible.
That's awesome. I want to know this one so
This is
badly.
the
I was
one. This is
waiting
the
for
one
this.
you want to know, Sarah.
Yeah.
Does it work with local development environments like development when I'm running app on 127.00180?
No, it doesn't. And it shouldn't also, because when you're developing inside your environment, there are a lot more other things that are secure, and we wouldn't want to get there. So it has to be a public web application or a web app or a web page, something like an AppSumo's page or a ShareFable page or whatever that is, right? But I would love to understand a little more in detail, maybe offline with you, Mercury, and as to why you would want to do it. Maybe I can pick some learnings, if not anything else.
That's really cool. And that shows that you also respect privacy as well, because you're like, I don't want to be in your source code. I don't want that access.
Oh, Ashikuzaman.
Hi.
Mercury. If it works on development environments, I could use it to share demos without hosting and share demos with clients and get feedback.
Yeah, I think that's also one of the reasons, right? Because what happens is everything that happens with Fable has to be hosted on our servers. Because obviously we can host it somewhere else, but we have not prepped our infra to get there yet. Usually companies do that when they're going enterprise. And we're not catering to enterprise just yet. So thanks for answering this, Mercury. And if at all we get there, more than happy to share the details with you.
And maybe, Mercury, you could just deploy your app really quick privately, record it on Fable where it's on a public URL possibly, and then just, then unpublish it. Maybe that would be a workaround for now.
We add text-to-speech MP3s inside Fable for each info.
Okay, so there were two things that were being asked for us with respect to text and speech as well as AI, right? So one was, is there a way for us to sort of add a voiceover? Second was, is there a way for AI to automatically pick up my steps and show some text as to what this particular screen is about, right? So we're just figuring out what is the fastest way for us to get you to both of these features. Instead of me talking, I think let me just share my screen and also show you what's there on our roadmap right now. Let's just say, all right. Let me know if you guys can see my roadmap.
We can see it.
Here we go.
Yes. So I think if you see the most upvoted one is AI to add descriptions automatically. I have about 14 upvotes for this one. And audio guides where you want to talk about speech, about 14 for this as well. So these two are, I think, the most, in fact, much more than the global settings and the templates. But we're still figuring out what would be the fastest way for us to deliver on this. So it would be tough for me to answer how we're going to implement it, but I can say for sure that we are going to do something. And whatever we are going to build, we'll obviously share the updates with you folks.
I have some ideas already. It'll also be low cost for you guys too. Yeah, I have some ideas.
Mercury, after sharing, do you have features to receive feedback comments when I am sharing demos privately?
Not at the moment. But like I said, I think most of the things that Mercury is asking about is towards the enterprise side of things. So, be it secure demo sharing or trying to host it on a different environment or collaborate. So these are things that we intend to build. But I think there are a lot more things that we'll have to knock off from a checklist before we get there. So if I have to be honest, definitely not in the next 6 months at least.
I do have a workaround for you, Mercury, though. If it's something that's public, and if you guys have help docs, no matter what help doc software you use, whether it's Intercom, Eniston, whatever your help desk looks like, typically those software, one, you can do iframe embeds, so you can embed your iframe for Fable for your walkthrough. Second, they usually have a comment section at the bottom. So that's a workaround for now, is you just build out a help doc, put in your iframe for your Fable walkthrough, and then the comments underneath where it says, was this helpful? If they have the sad face, then they can leave a comment and you can help them, if it's something that can be public. Hopefully that helps.
Asif, Hotjar is different from not comparable to Fable.
100%, which is exactly what I said, right? So it's a deep tech project which takes, I think, years to build, and the focus is on heat maps and analytics. We are a demo product. So yeah, that's exactly what I said as well. So thank you for raising that, Asif.
Joe can finally show his meme folder step by step. Yep, that's
my
one of my workflows.
I am in stitches when Joe's memes come through my feed. Oh my gosh.
You consider to add team feature?
Yes. So this is going to be a part of our access control and demo structure folders that we're putting together. So the request came in from agencies who said that I want to create a folder of demos for one of my clients, and each folder is only going to be accessed by my clients alone. So think of you as an agency where you have 20 different clients. You can have 20 different folders, and each of those folders are restricted by the email IDs of whoever you're going to give access to. So this is something that we are halfway there. Maybe in the next month or two, we will push it out. But then yes, this is extremely important, more so because we see a lot of people choosing tier 3 or agencies themselves, and they keep coming back with these features time and again.
Can we customize the way the cursor or mouse pointer looks in Fable?
Ooh, I would like that. That's kind of cool.
Very interesting.
It's so
never
90s,
thought about
so
this.
2000s.
Yeah, I've never thought about this. As of now, it's not possible, but might be a very interesting way to hack this out.
Get it on the roadmap. Francois, get it on the roadmap.
I love it.
Is there a plan to be able to capture desktop apps in the future?
Right. So there are two parts to this question again, right? So if I capture desktop app, it is just going to be a screenshot.
Like GuideJar.
I can't make it, like GuideJar, right? You can do that today. Just take a screenshot of the desktop app. And in Fable, we have an option for you to upload any of these images. And then either you can stitch together a demo with just those screenshots or add it in the middle of the existing demo that you've already created for yourself. Yeah. Right? That's the one half of the answer. But if the other half is, if you're asking us whether we have a desktop application, no, we don't.
Okay. Is there any sort of file manager kind of thing to manage, organize these files?
Like I said, the file manager and organization is a part of the access control. I think we just spoke about it a couple of minutes ago. So it's going to come along with it.
That's nice.
How this can be used for lead generation?
Yes, exactly like how I'm using it on my website. So a lot of people visit a website, especially a software website or a SaaS website, and they're like, you know what, I need to know what that product does. Usually, when you go to any software websites, you just see a lot of text saying, I'm the number one CRM company in the world. I have 100 customers, I have 1,000 logos, and I talk about, yes, exactly. But show me the product, right? And for that, you need to book a demo with a sales guy who's going to knock you out with qualification questions for 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's basically where Fable comes into play, where you embed a demo of your product and tell that, you know what, this is a sneak peek of what my product can do to solve your pain point. And what we are seeing is a lot of people experience that demo and towards the end showcase intention to talk to their sales team, right? So that's basically how you generate leads. And talking about our own example, we book a few demos every other day just with the embed of Fable that we have on our website. So it's actually more powerful for us than every other link and the CTA that we have on our website.
That's beautiful. And it's when I saw that you guys actually had a demo, we are always asking founders for demos all the time, but you already had one. And like at my agency, I always tell my team, seeing is believing. That's going to sell your client more than anything with the type of deliverables that everyone's working with here. So I love that.
Yep. Like I said, I think I replied to one of your comments on Facebook. We're trying to eat our own dog food.
Except in this case, it's gourmet food.
In Dirtbreed, is it possible to stack the offer?
I mean, I think I don't understand this question. If you
He
can
wants to
elaborate.
buy more than tier 3. He's like, how much money can I throw at you?
Yeah, maybe he wants to buy multiple
Well,
hundred different email addresses.
Well,
Maybe.
if you want to make it easier, you can share your bank account's password. I mean, jokes apart, right? So, I mean, obviously, don't know what I'm looking for.
Yep.
Say, please, reach out to me either on website chat, or maybe even my calendar. And then this particular question.
Vikas, do you have a little more time? Because I know we're running over an hour to answer a few more questions.
Oh, yes. I think we can stretch by 10 more minutes. Yes.
Okay. Francois, is there a way to make a quiz at the end of the demo to test if the learner has kept the right info in mind?
No. I think one way to do this might be to connect Fable with one of the other tools that provides an option for you to run a contest or a quiz. The reason is because Fable has been built to solve multiple use cases for marketing, for sales, for onboarding, as well as customer success. If we were to pick stuff like a training program or a checklist within a program or quizzes, then we are going towards just one use case and neglecting the other use cases, right? So which is why I think it might not be something that we'll be working on. But if the intention is to figure out how to use it, I think just integrate with Fable. The moment somebody clicks on the CT at the end of the demo saying, take a quiz or ask me questions or something like that, you use a CTA inside Fable. And as soon as I click on the CTA, your quiz window opens up. And you can use any free quiz tool out there for this. So that's the easiest way to achieve this.
Looks like Anil has to wake up earlier. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the global nature of our tech community is a blessing. But yeah, everyone's in different time zones.
This is similar to the previous question. We had forms at the end of the demo, like contact.
Oh, yes. Yes, we have the lead form option, inside Fable. So the good thing is you can add the lead form wherever you want, at the start, in between, at the end, more than one. The choice is yours.
Very cool.
Can we duplicate and create demos in different languages?
Duplicate, yes. Like I said, demos in different languages is something that you can create. You have to copy the text from a different language, the script that you want, and paste it in the guide boxes in the form of text. So you can do it. Duplicate is just a click of a button, right? So you click on the duplicate icon that we have in our dashboard, and then the same demo is duplicated with a duplicate name on the top.
That'll be nice. I have to do them in English, German, and Spanish and French. So that's really nice.
Read somewhere that blurred text is just visual, but that in the code you can see the blurred text. Is it true?
I'll have to check this, Francois. So I think the way it works is when you blur something from the page, we are only blurring it on the front end part of it, right? But if the question is, am I going back to the original application and changing it the backend? I think the answer is a no. So I'll have to go back and come back with a proper answer for this at least.
Question.
I think I know what he's asking too. Is since I believe, if I'm understanding this correctly, Fable basically creates its own HTML version of walkthrough. Is that because when you're doing front end coding, obviously you know this, I don't have to tell you, but the blur feature is over an element. So maybe, Francois, maybe you need to edit the HTML instead of use the blur feature. And I think that's definitely going to be the best workaround for now, until he can get you an answer. It's just edit it completely or delete it or hide it or whatever.
Great help desk for sure, Vikas. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's awesome.
Does the HTML support scripting tags, first-party tracking pixels beyond what's available in Fable?
Not at the moment, but I think a few of these might be possible depending on what you intend to do, because we have options available to inject in a few different ways. So happy to connect Brian offline and maybe discuss how exactly you would want to use this in Fable.
Especially if we're using just your link instead of the iframe, maybe we want to throw in just a script for a chatbot or something even. That'd be super cool.
Got it. Interesting.
For me, he probably has a way more complicated use case. But
Multilingual support for the same demo?
Oh, yes, very much. You can create one demo in French, one in Hindi, one in English, and the other in Hebrew. So it's pretty much possible.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yep. API,
Yay.
API and
Very
webhooks.
nice.
100% on the webhooks. Yeah.
Yes, webhooks are available in all tiers, so you don't even have to ask us for it.
So just so you guys know, just so you know how to do it is once you know that an app that you like has API or webhooks, you go to the docs of the app that you want to integrate with, let's say it's Pabbly or Elgato, Connexit, whatever it is. You take the link of the documents for the webhook section or the API section, and you go to Pabbly's roadmap or whatever you want, and you make a request on there and paste the link to the API or webhook docs so that Vikas doesn't have to do it and Pabbly will do all the heavy lifting. They will read the documentation and integrate it. That's how you do it.
Nice. We'll work on e-commerce platform like Shopify, sell done, WooCommerce.
Yes, in the feed. So any system that allows you to embed HTML in an iframe, you can do it, right? So it can be a landing page builder, a website, your blog, your Shopify store. So wherever you can embed something, you can do it. So it's not just restricted to Shopify alone.
Very nice.
Any plan to come up with a plugin for Figma?
I think you don't need a plugin with Figma because you can just download the Figma file and then upload it inside Fable. That's as easy as that is. Again, let's assume we'll again have to build a plugin and ask you to enable that plugin, use that plugin for you to connect Fable and Figma. So it becomes a little more complicated from a user point of view. What we allow today is for you to upload Figma files. So that's the easiest way to achieve this.
That's cool.
Alberto, so with new features added to Tier 2, what is it different from Tier 2 and Tier 3?
Yep, I would love to share my screen and maybe talk you through this.
The HTML customizations part, I think.
Yes. So let me know if you guys can see our AppSumo listing page.
Yep. You can see. Looks good.
Yep. So the differences between the Tier 2 and Tier 3 primarily are on the HTML customization side of things, like Joe mentioned. You want to become a power user of Fable, customize it all you want, put together really nice personalized demos depending on your use case. Tier 3 would be your option. That is one. Two, if you have a lot of creators, let's say you want every member of your team to start using Fable and putting together these guides and demos, Tier 3 has no restriction on the number of creators, so you can use it all you want. Third, I think a couple of you were asking about collecting these lead information at the start of the demo or in between the demo, at the end of the demo. That's also possible with Tier 3. And four, if you're somebody who is very big on CNAME, we allow you to map up to 10 different CNAMEs in Tier 3. So that's basically what you get in Tier 3, which are not a part of the other tiers.
Oh, cool. So you actually don't have to do a wrapper then to whoever asked about the URL wrapping. And just so anyone, Zapier offers 100 tasks per month on the free tier. So Zapier is not like my favorite as far as pricing, but 100, will probably take care of a lot of people on the free tier. So that's still a nice integration. And again, the only reason I don't like Zapier is just because their pricing, but otherwise it's a great app.
Pricing is killer.
Yeah.
I think it's time to maybe move on to a little more friendly options. I've heard people talk about Make a lot. I'm not sure because I've not used it myself. Yeah. We should move or even Pabbly for that matter. So maybe we also should explore options like Pabbly or a Make in the future.
Yeah, Pabbly will integrate yours for free if you already have webhooks, so you don't even have to worry about it. Make is amazing, but very complicated for a lot of people, but it's my favorite.
Perfect.
Framer.
Yes, it does. I think we spoke about it a minute ago when we were talking about Shopify. So I think Framer is a UI kit, correct me if I'm wrong, and it can work with any web page or a landing page or a website, anything that allows you to embed an iframe, you can do it.
Yeah, Framer's like Webflow. Yeah, it works great.
Is there any search engine available with the demo for users to utilize?
No, we don't have a search engine, but would like to sort of understand what would these people search for, because when you're creating a demo, let's say we spoke about the same example of Google Calendar, people don't even know what you're showing in that particular demo. So I don't know what they're going to search for. But I think if I were to take a guess as to why Francois was asking this question, it might be for a tutorial or a guide where you're talking through something with respect to a product and you want them to search to find what they're looking for. Great suggestion. I think we'll have to think about how something is possible, but as of today, we don't have that.
That was my thought too. And I think for UX too, it's actually better to do less steps per category. So maybe
Yeah.
I'm thinking even, and again, I don't know his use case, but he might want to split that up manually into his own landing pages or something like that. Even a Notion doc or help, just by category instead.
Yep.
Can those who watch add reaction on particular?
No, I think Sarah already answered this a few minutes ago.
Yeah, so it's not like Loom, but you can just put it in your own help desk software and kind of get the same thing a little bit.
We answered this one as well just now.
Yes, we answered
Works
this one
with
too.
that. Since it's HTML, do you have any plans to give us an ability to add JavaScript to demos to manipulate demos dynamically?
Technically, it is possible, but practically, we are not enabling that to people right now because we don't know what can go wrong with the code if we expose it to everybody to play with it. So I think it's a matter of choice than the technical feasibility. It is definitely possible. But for now, we're not exposing it because we don't know if one of our customers makes one change and it reflects across the demo. It's going to be a little more complicated for us to fix as well, right? So at least not at the moment, but technically it is definitely feasible.
It increases support calls with that too, because if someone screws something up and it's like, oops, I put in the wrong code, and then also cybersecurity threats too. There's a lot of jerks out there that love to just see, can I just put in some malicious code? Let's see what we can do. So that's the other reason why it's a bit tough. It's always possible, but giving people access to code like that is a challenge. And again, it's the jerks that ruined it for us, but
always. I think that Fable combined with make forms could be a great combo.
Yeah. Absolutely, Francois. You can combine with any form tool out there.
Yeah.
See why you can't add some AI features to automatically translate demos from one language to other effortlessly.
Well, again, I think the answer with respect to any question where there is a technical feasibility is if most of my customers ask for it, I'll bill for it, right? I think currently what people are asking for is the AI description feature, where using AI, they can automatically create a short description of what's there in that particular screen or that step. That's something that we're trying to explore. Once that is through, we'll figure out what else can be done.
For AI voices, I have a very low-cost option for you guys, too. I would suggest bring your own key so you don't have to worry about credits.
Yeah. This also be expanded to mobile apps, Android, iPhone apps.
Interesting.
Asif, yeah. So if your mobile app has like a mobile browser version, which basically opens in the browser. So let's say I'm talking about my Share Fable website or an app. If that can open up in the mobile device, be it an Android device or an iOS device, I'll be able to do it because, like you understand, Fable resides as a browser extension. And whatever I can do is through the browser extension itself. So I need that particular application to open up on a browser.
Definitely helpful. Webinar, good. You learn some use cases. I think I know the answer to this, but what's the meaning of Fable, by the way?
So Fable, for a lack of a better word, is a story, right? So what we realized was when we were doing multiple demos every single time, it was not just about the product, but it was a story associated with the product that always helped us close more deals. And we said, if you're actually building a product to create how-to guides or demos, etc., you're actually putting your own narrative or telling your own story. So if that is the case, why not call the product Fable? And that's how we ended up with it.
Since you say you host all this, is there a way to export the demo? This way, if you have a server issue or if something happens with Fable, our work does not get lost.
At the moment, what we're doing is we are working on 3 backup servers. So what usually happens is if one of us crashes and then maybe the other one picks up and stuff like that. But I think the larger point of this question is what happens if the Fable company itself is out of here, right?
That's what we're scared of. Yeah, users get scared.
So I mean, if that is happening,
end of the world, but we still want our demos. It's like make sure. Do we still have our demo?
No, I mean, if that is something that's there, I think we can figure out what's the way to sort of export. There are multiple ways to think about it. maybe just convert them to screenshots, or maybe allow them to export it and host it on their own servers, or using an API, can we push the demos from our product to some other product they're using as an alternative? So I can think of multiple combinations, but touch wood, I not want to even think about that sort of a situation for now.
Yeah, luckily.
Yeah, and it's more too just some users it's about siloing too, and just freedom of using the deliverable. So it's they're thinking of it kind of like Loom, like you can download the video in some cases, or something like that. Komodo Dex. Obviously, this is way more powerful than that, but some people prefer to have a backup of it at least, just in case, because we're going to spend a lot of time in your app, so they want to make sure they don't lose it and it's not siloed.
Thank you, Asif. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Question: where are the servers located? Yeah,
that's helpful.
And is there a CDN feature?
Yeah, the servers are currently located in 3 different locations. We have a few of them in Virginia. We have some of them in Singapore, and we're also exploring a few of them in the Middle East. But for now, majority of the code and the demos are hosted in Virginia itself.
I think GDPR requires, if I remember correctly, it requires servers located in the EU. Like you have to. There's a whole bunch with that. So
yes,
I mean, obviously that's a whole nother GDPR compliance, a whole nother hurdle.
Absolutely. But I think also GDPR requires us to sort of appoint a DPO or some sort of an officer who takes care of the regulations, etc. So, which is why even before the AppSumo launch, we said to be on the safer side, I don't think we are GDPR compliant. That's what we told on our listing as well as all the other groups. But we do intend to sort of be fully GDPR compliant. Not just on paper where we fake it saying that we are compliant, but obviously have the certifications and mean it really. But that's something that we expect to happen in the later half of the year. Obviously, we have to pick that up. I think there's no choice.
Yeah, because we'll need to download like the data processing agreements from you guys, and GDPR. It's very interesting, but yeah.
So Vikas, you've been nice enough to do a giveaway as well for 3 tier 1s. Would you like to choose someone from the comments now to give away 1 free, and then later you could select the other 2, whoever you thought contributed, asked great questions, was fun?
I think I have the 3 already in my mind. If you want, we can share about it.
Oh yeah, you could share the 3 winners, and would they have to contact you on support, or would you like them to contact me and then I let you know?
Either works. I mean, whatever you think would be the best to facilitate, I think that works for me.
If you don't mind them, emailing you or contacting
you. Oh, absolutely. They can email it.
Like.
Vikas@sharefable.com are all yours. So please send me an email directly. I'll set this up. So the 3 giveaways that I would like to give out would be one to Francois for being very supportive, talking about our product, being a voice of our product in the communities, and actually asking a few logical questions for me to think about my own product, right? Second would be to Mercury, talking about use cases that are a lot more flexible with Fable in the near future. Third, I think is Asif. He has been relentlessly asking questions, one after the other, in terms of, I mean, I just hope it's the intention to use the product like Fable and, explore it to the best of its ability. So I think these would be the 3 winners in my mind from the giveaway point of view.
Very nice. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Hey, that's cheering. Yeah, so, they can email you, and if anyone has any support questions, they could also contact you as well, Vikas.
And use that roadmap.
Absolutely.
Use the roadmap.
So in our group LoudEgg, you can ask questions on this video thread in the Facebook group or on YouTube, and Vikas is in the group, so that works.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it, Vikas. I know you're very busy. You have more work to do, and Sarah got to go fix computer problems. I have to go help fix a server that went down. So
exciting times.
Thank you everyone for joining us. We ran a little bit over. Thanks again. Check out Fable. It's on AppSumo right now, and have a good rest of your day, afternoon, and evening, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, you all. See you. Bye-bye.